All right, everyone, welcome back to East Texas. And now I am here with Miss Michelle Seaton. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here. Happy.
I am glad. She is the founder of Soulfully Healthy Living. She is here because it is Women's History Month, and women, we have to take care of ourselves.
Yes.
And lots of times we do neglect ourselves, trying to give ourselves to everyone, our jobs, our families, that we forget that we need to take time to make sure that we're whole as well.
Absolutely. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So first off, go ahead, Michelle, and just tell us about Soulfully Healthy Living and how that started.
Okay. Well, my background is in law, corporate, contract management. I have been in the industry and working hard and doing all these things, and I realized my health really started to take a fall. And, you know, I've had experiences with fibroids and different things like that. And I really realized the importance of health within women, and how we, you know, the things that we do and the stresses that we run through in life, and working and being corporate and raising families and taking care of our parents and different things like that. So my journey to Soulfully Healthy Living was born out of that. You know, I'm still working in corporate America. I'm still really busy, but I try to lead with, you know, and practice what I preach, in saying that we really can take better care of ourselves and eat well and keep youthful and keep energetic, because that's what we really need, particularly when we're stressed.
Oh, definitely agreed. I love the fact that you, you know, have been in, you know, those corporate settings, and you know what it's like, and so that is why you founded this. And so at Soulfully Healthy Living, what do you guys focus on?
Well, we focus on women's health, self-care, and womb, breast, and heart care. And when I say heart care, not only am I talking about physical heart health, but I'm also talking about our emotional health.
Yes.
Dealing with the stress of life, dealing with, sometimes we have women that haven't really dealt with those childhood messages that received, and they're still telling themselves these awful things that we've heard. And so we're really addressing that emotional heart as well.
And so go ahead and talk and expand just a little bit about that. And I like when you touched on emotional, because a lot of times as women, you know, we are emotional creatures, and so some things that you don't even bother you anymore, you know, could have been traumas that you experienced, and now they are playing out just in different forms in your life. So how important is it for us to grasp onto our emotional health and really do things to take control of it?
Oh yeah, it is very important, and I don't think we really realize how that voice plays back to us. You want to think of it saying as a child, you heard a message saying something about how you looked, or whether or not you were smart enough, or, you know, whether you were going to be something. And what we do as children, we internalize those messages, whether you know, whether we're you know, female or male, we internalize those messages that we hear as children. And what we do as adults, we play that back, and you kind of look at it as a vulture sitting on your shoulder.
Wow.
And when you think you're like, I'm going to go succeed, I'm going to go for this new job, there's that vulture on your shoulder saying, no, you can't. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. So that's what we're fighting. We're combating that, to knock that vulture off your shoulder and rewire those messages saying that you are enough, you are smart, you are talented, and being able to take that into the world. Because when you can step into the world with good emotional health, you are able to reach out for help when you need it. You're able to communicate what it is that you need.
Right.
There's all these things that play into our good emotional balance, and having that voice giving you good messages and supportive messages.
And so what are some ways that we can at home, you know, as women practice that, and trying to, I guess, turn around those messages that we constantly, sometimes all the time, hear, and, you know, we second guess ourselves. And I like the fact that you said sometimes, you know, you have to change the way we think. And I know that my mother, she always instilled, you know, you have to write out your positive affirmations before you go to work, and before back when in school, even before you go to school, you wake up, you say your affirmations, and that's how you start the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so among that, what are some other ways that we can try to do that and be more confident when we, you know, are speaking and we are at work and in these places?
Well, I think affirmations are great, and I always preach affirmations, whether they're in your car, in your bathroom, those messages saying to yourself that you are enough, or whatever it is that you need to hear. The second thing that I always recommend for women that we do not do is breathe. A lot of times we're walking through life and we're, you know, right there. We want to take that deep breath And in that deep breath, those are when we pull those thoughts down and say, hey, I am love. I am loved, and I represent love, and I give love. And you bring that right down to your womb. You breathe into your womb. You take those deep breaths. And a lot of times we're running, and we don't stop until we fall out.
We don't.
And yeah, we don't. We need to stop that. We need to take those breaths on a daily basis, whether that's getting up in the morning 10 minutes before, you get your breath in, you focus on your breath for 10 minutes, you allow yourself to get into that calm state. And what that's doing is activating your parasympathetic system. And that's where we do our healing. That's where we do our calming system, you know. When you're talking about fight or flight, that's where that stress response is. And we most days are operating in that, even if we're not necessarily having something that we need to run from. So yeah, so that's what that deep breath is doing, activating that other side of the system for that calm sense. And then you walk into and doing your affirmations, because now you're able to receive.
Right.
Yeah, you know, you're open to it.
That makes sense. Okay, so parasympathetic system is where that fight or flight comes from.
Well, no, that's the opposite.
That's the opposite.
That's the restful state.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that parasympathetic system is that restful state.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what you're going to hit when you're doing movement, walking, meditation, any type of meditation, yoga, sometimes even dance. That's that system that you're like, I can breathe, I can notice my breath, I can just be at peace, and I can just be calm.
And even just watching you do that, I was just like, like breathing.
Yeah.
Wow. And so you said that we are in a fight or flight state, and we sometimes don't even know it.
Yeah.
And so what causes that? I mean, is there any, you know, specific mood or any specific experience that would cause us to constantly be in that state? I mean, sometimes I know I get up and perfect example this morning. I got up a little after my alarm clock usually goes off, and I woke up, and normally I meditate in the morning, and you know, I get myself together. I wake up in the morning and I meditate, read my Bible and stuff like that. But today I woke up and immediately had to jump out of the bed in 15 minutes, get in the car. And so literally until you said breathe, like I had to go like this, and I was like, wow, I've been tense all day.
Yeah.
So is that something that contributes to that fight or flight state?
That is what that state is. and it's modern society. I'm not saying that we're going to be able to get away from that, because a lot of us are super busy and have all these things going on. But it's making sure that we make a conscious choice to stop back and make sure that we're in our breaths. There's a saying that goes, a man says to a business person, it says, you should meditate 30 minutes a day, every day before your day starts. And the businessman says, I am too busy to meditate 30 minutes. And the response is, well, if you're that busy, you should meditate for an hour.
Wow.
That's what it's a conscious choice to be aware of our state, of where we are, how we're feeling, our emotions, our thought processes. And what that does, it brings clarity. Because when you're running, sometimes you're not thinking straight, you know, because you're busy and you're like here, here, and here, and here, 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 here. And we don't want that. You take that deep breath.
Let's do it again, guys. I don't know if you're watching. Let's do it again. Ready to lead us?
Yes, let's take this deep breath in through the nose. Hold it. And then release through the mouth.
That felt really good.
Yeah, and you feel your shoulders drop.
Yes.
And you have that deep breath, and you're just like, oh, okay.
I can get through the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because when I go to sleep, my mom sent me this, and it's this guided meditation to sleep. Because sometimes I find that I'm so like going, I can't rest well. And so one of the first things that the lady tells us to do, she's like, relax your shoulders. Yes. And I'm laying in bed, and you don't even know you're laying like this until she says relax. I'm like, I am relaxed. And then I'm like,
yeah.
Wow.
And we do, a lot of women do go around holding themselves because it's this sense of protection in that stress. So you have women that have their shoulders up, you'll have them locked here in the hips. So you'll see, like, if you ask someone, says, okay, go ahead and relax, you don't realize, like, wait, how are you? Wait,
I just did it.
I am holding my hips. There's a lot lot of stress right there in the hips, which, you know, why we do a lot in yoga. When we talk about women's health, we do a lot of hip openers because we hold ourselves in
so much. When she just said that, when Michelle just said that, I did it and I didn't even know that my hips were so.
Yes, but that's the thing. We're just so we're in the state of, we're just so used to this is how our norm, that we don't realize that that doesn't have to be the norm.
Right.
Yeah, and that stress plays into everything: reproductive health, mental health, all types of physical health. You know, so that realizing, stepping into that parasympathetic and allowing our bodies to do what they're supposed to do, really makes a huge difference in health overall.
Oh my goodness. So guys, we are going to make a pledge to stop functioning in dysfunction from here on out and tapping into our parasympathetic system, because it is going to make us just so much more relaxed. I feel so much more relaxed, Michelle.
Great.
This is wonderful. And so now we talked about that in ways that you can de-stress, taking time out, you know, even if it's just 30 minutes, or maybe, you know what, if you're saying, oh, I really want to start slow, maybe even just 15 minutes in the morning. Okay, start slow and, you know, increase it, taking that time to start off your day and set the tone for your day. But now I do want to go into talking about the importance of getting your screenings done.
Yes.
Go ahead and touch on that.
Yeah, that's a huge part of women's health. One, we have that stress factor, which makes us, I guess, more susceptible to a lot of things that could go wrong with our health. So it's very important, particularly as busy women, you know, working, raising families, that we are monitoring our health. So meaning that's doing your screenings for your blood sugar levels and different things like that too, as you're going through the process, hopefully, to clean up your diet. But until that happens, you want to make sure that you are screening for, again, blood sugar. You want to make sure you're checking your cholesterol, your heart health, because that's #1 killer of
heart disease.
Heart disease, absolutely. Yeah. We also want to look at our reproductive health. You know, make sure you're getting your mammograms, doing your monthly palpitations around for any type of lumps or any changes in the breast.
Right.
And one of the good things about doing that monthly, that checkup, is not so much that you're going to maybe discover it right away, but you'll also notice, you'll know what your normal is. And so when that changes, you know to go get checked. But again, your annual mammograms, and also for your reproductive health, make sure that you're getting any kind of testing for HPV, your annual pap smears, or even any type of STDs. That's really important, because there are a lot of STDs that don't have symptoms, so we just want to make sure that we're keeping everything in balance. Huge part of health is preventative health and making sure that we stay aware.
Right, and I love how you touched on, you know, making sure that you are heart healthy, because Suzette Farr with the American Heart Association comes here bi-weekly, and she says heart disease is the #1 killer, but it is also 100% preventable.
Absolutely.
And when you know that, you know, there is no reason why we should not be educating each other on what we can do to stay safe. Just simple changes, and you touched a little bit on diet. So talk about how your diet can affect your heart health, and what are some easy tips, because I know here in Texans we love our fried fishes, foods, chickens, all of that. So what are some little ways that we could start being more heart healthy with our diet?
Okay, heart healthy. So here's one of the things that you want to be aware of. I know you love your meats, but
however,
but cancels out everything in front of it. Even if you're saying, okay, I am not going to be necessarily plant-based, you know, and I say plant-based because it's mostly plant-based, you know, whereas you say someone that's vegan, they have no animal products, nothing anywhere. Plant-based gives you kind of a little bit of leeway of how you want to add to, you know, change your diet. Again, mostly plants. Adding in the green vegetables. I know we love collard greens and mustards. But maybe let's try, instead of ham hock, let's do a smoked turkey leg. Let's move away from fried foods. You can still make sure it's healthy meat. You know, move away from things like the ground meat. You know, maybe less red meat. I'm not saying you can't have a steak. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But just make sure that it's in moderation. You got to think generations back, a lot of times people did have meat, but it was because of meat they were raised, so they really knew what was going into it. So I think that's really important. And because they were raising it, they didn't eat it as often because they didn't have, it wasn't the same of supply. So just little tips like that. Another great thing for heart health and even blood sugar levels is to eat less processed food. So even if you're so-called vegan, if you're eating vegan junk, Oreos are vegan, it doesn't count. Absolutely, that's not helping your health. So you want to kind of pull away from a lot of the processed foods and a lot of the sugars. And that still leaves you a wide range of foods you can eat.
Right. And I think it's so important. So touching on both screenings and diet. So I went to the doctor not too long ago, and I was a big coffee drinker. And I was like, coffee. And my diet, consists of a whole lot of dairy. And I was just, don't get me wrong, not, condemning anyone who does that, but I just noticed that my body was changing a whole lot, and when doing one of my monthly exams, I noticed a lump.
Yes.
And so I went to the doctor because I was like, hold up, what's going on? And so I went to the doctor.
It's caffeine.
And he said, you have fibroadenomas, and it's basically benign little cysts that will grow and shrink depending on how much caffeine you intake. And I didn't know that, and it kind of scared me, and I was like, okay, hang on, I got to do a change because I don't like the way this feels. But that just goes to show you all how much your diet affects, your body internally. And you don't know that.
And then the thing is, I think what we don't realize, same thing happened to me, and that's I would not only get cysts in my breast, but I also get them in my wrist and different joints.
I have one on my wrist right now.
Which is very in my 20s, and there are a lot of things that we do in our 20s and as kids that they start catching up with us after 10, 15 years. So one of the things that for me, I switched to decaf. Now there is some caffeine in there. But I think it's like 5 cups of decaf that'll equal
1 cup.
So so you do things in moderation. You maybe do substitutes. So maybe I'll have coffee in the morning, and maybe decaf. Maybe I'll do half and half. Or maybe one day I'll have 1 cup of caffeine and then the rest decaf, or I'll switch to tea. There's also shaga, which is like a reishi mushroom drink. There's yerba mate. There's all these different things that we can add to our diet and just kind of explore. And that's why I always suggest to people when they are making changes to their diet, make it fun, because people make it such a chore and it's quote unquote a diet, they don't stay on it. No, this is a lifestyle change. It is something we're all going to age and we're all going to again step into the grave at some point. But you want to make that journey as pleasant as possible, and not you don't want to get to 40 and be achy and
expedite that process.
And in pain and different things like that. We have far too many people in our age group or at least in my age group, that are having heart issues already, have even passed away from strokes and heart attacks, different things like that, and that should not be happening in our 40s, and a good deal of that is due to our diets and our sedentary lifestyles.
Right. And like you said, in your 40s, that is still so young.
Yes, I am 44 years young.
I'm telling you, doesn't she look good? I mean, I ain't gonna have this little lifestyle, this plant-based lifestyle. It's gonna keep me looking like that I'm switching today. Do you hear me?
Yes.
That is wonderful, but I appreciate you pointing the importance out of diet, because sometimes, we often omit it, and even going back to just that fast-paced lifestyle that we live, we're on the go, we're going, and so we're like, I'll just stop and pick up a burger, or I'll just,
a donut, or all those things.
Look, that white icing with sprinkles donut calls my name almost every Wednesday. I'm not gonna play.
That's way too much sugar.
And I start my day off like this, and then by the end of the day, I'm like, oh my gosh. But just those little changes, and even, look, I switched over to my teas. I got my teas. Instead of coffees, those little lifestyle changes can definitely make the difference. So let's just recap of everything we went over.
Oh, a lot.
We went over a lot, but this is good. This is great information. So making sure we take time to tap into our parasympathetic
system. So that's where we're relieving some of that stress. So that's affirmations, that's breathing techniques, that's meditation, whatever it is that you're going to incorporate in your life and keep doing. That's the important. You gotta keep doing it. If it's going to be bothersome,
don't do it.
Let's find something that that you're going to enjoy. The other thing is, let's look at our diets and try to eat a little bit healthier, one step at a time. You know, these are lifestyle changes, so it's not like you need to go cold turkey and I'm going to be plant-based tomorrow. That's not necessarily how it works, particularly if you're not going to stick with it. You know, there's a learning curve, you know, making sure that you prepare foods ahead of time. Because guess what? If you're hungry and you're stuck out and all there is Burger King, or
You're gonna get Burger King.
you're gonna get, that's what you're gonna get, you know, because you're hungry. So making sure
Right.
that you prepare healthier snacks, eating healthier snacks throughout the day. Preventative care, making sure that we're staying aware of where our health is and knowing what our norm is and knowing when to reach out for help and when we need to go into the doctor for, you know, if something changes, you know. Movement, we talked a little bit about that. So, I mean, we covered a lot.
Right.
And then you can always go in depth. You know, I am based here in Tyler, Texas.
Yes.
I'm from here, so this is my home. So I'm returning home. But I'm actually over on 805 Glenwood, right across from Fun Forest, and I partner with Glenwood Health and Wellness.
Good.
And there I do workshops. So if you're saying, okay, I'm not going to be plant-based, but I do want to learn how to cook healthier, maybe add a plant-based dish to our diet, or maybe add a couple during the week, I do food workshops. So we can, you know, always be on the lookout for that on the website. And then I also do a program. It's like an 8-week program to help women transform their lives, and that includes the movement, the food, the affirmations, that emotional, that mental side of it, and it's a whole program to kind of teach women what they need to do for themselves, because I'm always an advocate of teach a woman how to heal.
Right.
She'll heal a community. So it's not about the buck stops here, and I want to teach other women how to do the same things that I'm doing so they can heal their families and their community and their little neighborhood and spread the knowledge.
That's what it is about, spreading the knowledge. And if we want to follow you on social media, Michelle, where can we find you at?
Oh, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Twitter, you can find my website. It is all soulfullyhealthyliving.com.
All right. Well, you know what? We had a great time talking today,
Yes.
Michelle. I have relaxed in different places where I didn't know I needed to relax. And I am sure that everyone can take something away. Guys, it is Women's History Month. Women, make sure that you are taking care of yourselves. And if you came in kind of in the middle of this interview or maybe towards the end and you missed some stuff at the beginning, we will go ahead and save this. There will be a web story up. But again, follow Miss Michelle on everything soulfullyhealthyliving.com. We appreciate you for stopping by.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to come out and speak.
Anytime, and we are going to have Michelle on regularly. She's going to come back and break down and kind of talk in depth about some of the things that she is seeing in the community. I do remember that you talked a little bit about reproductive health as well, so we're going to dive deeper into that as well as some of those diet subjects that we touched on to make sure that we are reminding us, you know, bi-weekly, hopefully, on how to continue to live a healthy lifestyle. Michelle, we will see you soon.
Yes, thank you
so much. All right, guys.